A topic related to teaching that is not discussed very often is nonverbal communication. Today we're going to talk about using the basics of nonverbal communication in the classroom to have a better teaching experience. For starters, what is nonverbal communication? Well, that would be anything that is communicating from one person to another that doesn't involve the words that you're saying. It could be the gestures. You see there's some gestures going on here in my audience. It could be the posture. It could be the clothing. Those are all speaking. Those are all part of nonverbal communication. There are many research studies that have been done throughout the years. Among the first of them were Bandler and Grinder. They did a famous study at Napa State Hospital in California where one of the patients had been there for a couple of years and never spoken a word. They had tried shock therapy and chemical therapy, but nothing could get him to say a word. By using 40 minutes of nonverbal communication, neuro-linguistic programming, they got him to speak. That somewhat illustrates the power of nonverbal communication. There are, behind your shadow a little bit there, 700,000 catalog gestures. That's 6 times as many words as in the English language that are cataloged and have a meaning. 250,000 facial gestures have been cataloged, and 5,000 hand gestures have been cataloged. They all mean something. We're using them all the time, but not consciously. Why is nonverbal communication important? Well, one reason is that the majority of our communication is nonverbal. 55 to 70% face-to-face communication is not the words that are spoken. It's the nonverbal part. And it can be misused. You can use nonverbal communication to manipulate people to do what you want them to do, i.e. selling houses and cars. Or you can use it in an ethical way to improve very quickly your relationships with other people just through nonverbal communication. But there is one hitch to this, and that is that it's unconscious. You do it all the time, but you don't know you're doing it. Just like these audience members here that you see in front of you are posturing, and their posture is saying something without them saying a word. But you can bring it into your conscious mind and manage it consciously to get more positive relationships with your students, other faculty, and staff. Normally, though, like I said, it operates at an unconscious level. You can see it all the time, like in our audience right here. We don't even know what they're saying, perhaps. Nonverbal. Gestures, such as the arms, hands touching each other, the crossed leg there, they mean something. But to really interpret them correctly, you need to interpret them in clusters. One gesture alone could be misleading. You would want to take a look at several gestures, multiple corroborating gestures that say the same thing, like all these different poses that are on the slide that indicate real obvious things, joy or confusion. Let's take a look at this slide here. You can see different nonverbal communication taking place. And I will ask you in the audience, if I put a big red circle around that one, when we have hands reaching out, palms up, and then I put a circle around this one over here, touching the nose, I'll ask you, do those two gestures corroborate one another? Do you think they're saying the same thing, generally? Well, probably not. One is a positive communicating gesture. The other one usually indicates lying. No, probably not. Let's try this one. Crossed arms and legs. Shows generally a closed attitude. And then down here we have massaging the forehead. Could those say the same thing? Possibly. They could be agreeing because they're showing discomfort with this situation at hand. Some gestures can have positive or negative indications depending on the circumstances. For example, these gestures of assertiveness could be appropriate or inappropriate depending on the situation. And here we can see a dominant and a passive position for a handshake. Palms down is dominant. Palms up, submissive. In this case, President Obama is showing submission in this shaking of hands. That's not necessarily good or bad. Size of personal space varies from culture to culture. If I could ask one of you, come on up. Stand at a comfortable distance for people in the United States, Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand is just out of touch. That's safe. But if I was to move in a little closer, you would be uncomfortable. Right, because that's not invading personal space. Thank you. Depending on your relationship with another person, different space is appropriate. But in the Arab countries and Hispanic countries, it's totally appropriate to be practically face-to-face, smelling each other's breath. That's customary. It varies from country to country. And you can see the distances here for intimate, friend, social, increasing as it becomes less intimate. Here's an example of invading someone's space on the screen there. And this is true not only in humans, but other animals as well. Even dogs use nonverbal communication. They do mirroring. They do a lot of these same gestures. So what are the negative nonverbal signs? They would include crossing arms and legs, like we have over there. Insufficient eye contact. If I avoid you fastidiously out in the audience, that's going to break down the communication and give a negative impression. Covering any part of the face is a negative indication, like mouth, nose, scratching the ears, rubbing the back of the neck even. Those all indicate a lack of confidence and cause a negative impression. Hands held in, or either in pockets, or holding on to your hand is an indication of insecurity. And you don't want to show that in front of the people communicating to. Hands down is often seen as a negative sort of control language. Pipe down, please. On this slide here, one on the left, that's positive and negative. Got hands behind them, hiding the hands, lack of security. That means this person probably doesn't like public speaking very much. Whereas the person on the right seems quite confident and maybe a bit assertive, and the arms akimbo position. Here's a person who's showing both kinds of nonverbal communication. Crossed arms being negative, a smile being positive. That's a mixed message. We need some more gestures to see what's really going on there. But children are not very good at all at hiding the truth in their nonverbal communication. Here, hands covering the face, meaning probably this person is lying. We get better at it later on. Oh, no, I'm not lying. I wouldn't lie to you. No, I'm not lying. Or, I'm bored out of my mind. Holding hands, insecurity. Lack of eye contact, insecurity. And it really has the effect of losing your credibility if you don't have appropriate eye contact with the people that we're communicating. Positive nonverbal signs are arms or legs not crossed, like to one person here. Okay. Appropriate eye contact, not too much, not too little. Smiling is positive in every culture on the face of the planet. And useful expressive gestures that are meaningful are positive as well. Hands up. I'm telling you the truth. I'm all out for you. I'm not hiding anything. Here are some examples of positive nonverbal communication captured in my classroom recently. Mirroring is the most powerful part or aspect of nonverbal communication. That's what got the mental patient in Napa State Hospital to speak in 40 minutes. You all are doing that right now, I might point out. You have your hands in the same position, your legs are in the same position. You two are mirroring each other. What the heck does that mean? Well, it's a sign of rapport. You see it everywhere. You see people together. When they're assuming similar postures, there is some kind of rapport. And usually that's unconscious. You didn't know you were doing that. But we can do it consciously. I could mirror you and take on somewhat, not the same, not mimic, but somewhat similar postures. And that would cause you to think that I'm very much like you and that we are friends. But done incorrectly, it can have a very negative effect. Mimicking has a very negative effect. Mirroring is something you can use to create very rapid rapport. And that's what I train all of the National Park Service people at front desks to do, to gain rapport rapidly with people they've never seen before in their lives. So here in my class, here's mirroring going on. They don't know they're doing it, but they are in rapport. Should we consciously assess our nonverbal communication and adjust it to be positive? What's happening in this audience? Are they happy about what is happening? How about this audience? Let's hope that's never a classroom that we're teaching. Uh-oh. How about this audience? So how do we incorporate nonverbal communication into our everyday teaching and interactions with faculty and staff? We should be cognizant of our own body language to start with. I'm being cognizant, and now you are too, right? You're probably thinking, what? Shouldn't cross my legs. We should be cognizant of our own body language. And we should also be cognizant of the body language of the students that we are working with in our classrooms, of the faculty and staff that we work with, and use mirroring to gain rapport. Thank you. That's hard to do.
You did great. Really good. Yeah,
It was great to be a model.
Was it weird?
Yeah.
Subject.
I know, I kept wanting to turn around, but that's like, you guys just didn't say
I know, right? Especially given the topic.
Good to have someone else.